Hello there. It's the 7th day of August. It's not a very good afternoon. I am Emefa Akosia Adeti. Welcome to News Today. And President John Dramani Mahama has meanwhile announced interim ministerial appointment. Finance Minister Dr. Ato Forson will now double as Deputy Minister, while Lands and Natural Resources Minister Emmanuel Kofi takes on additional responsibility as Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. The appointment announced today by the presidency come as the nation continues to mourn the devastating loss of key government officials en route to an event in Aboagye. And I'll be reading to you the statement on your screen shortly. President John Mahama has asked the Minister for Finance, Honorable Dr. Ato Forson, to take on additional responsibility as Deputy Minister. And as well, the President has also asked the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Emmanuel Kofi Amaboa, to act as Minister for Environment, Science and Technology until further notice. Meanwhile, the elder sister of the late acting deputy coordinator of the National Security, Hajia Fati Lemuna, has just had her DNA sample taken and dispatched to Accra, part of efforts to identify victims of the tragic helicopter crash. The late Alhaji Mohammed Muniru Lemuna, remembered as a philanthropist and a respected son of Gonja land, was due to be enskinded as sub-chief and celebrate his 61st birthday tomorrow in Damongo. Instead, family members, residents and politicians from across the divide have gathered at the family home, united in grief. Our team is on the ground and will bring us voices from Damongo.
Only for me to get the news yesterday at 11 past, some minutes past 11 o'clock a.m. that he had passed away. In fact, the family and the whole of Damongo, the party, is so down.
Easy for us. When we were shocked, because we can't imagine how things happen this way. So something like we can't understand. We can't just understand why it is so. But it's God making. So we have to accept it in good faith.
Just last week I had a conversation with him. So this is not a new person to me, and I tell you, I really had a lot of stress last night. Reason is that at least the three among them, I can say you can call them Professor Samuel Aboagye. You know, I had a fond memory when I picked him as a young boy and we had an accident with the motorbike.
All that happens, we must give praises and thanks to Almighty Allah. And may Allah also grant them Jannah to Firdaus. Alhaji Lemuna Muniru, like we all know, is a very religious person, a philanthropist, a God-fearing person whom everybody in this constituency look up to.
Damongo received the news in shock, saddened and devastated.
Our Savannah Regional correspondent Isaac Nonya joins us via Zoom from the Savannah region. Isaac, what can you report?
Yes, the regional minister, Mr. Beurebe, Yusuf Beurebe, just left the family house. In an interview with me, he confirmed the DNA process, which will enable them to receive the remains of the former minister and the national security coordinator to Damongo, where they wish to do the burial. According to him, both the overlord of Gonja and the Damongo chief are very, very interested because the man was nominated as a sub-chief. Some processing need to be performed before his burial was observed here in Damongo. So here they are all ready, waiting for the arrival, the necessary processing leading to the identification and then the arrival of the body in Tambale and for the matter, Damongo, for the burial to take place.
That's quite sad. And so in his family home, we understand that friends and family have gathered. Instead of a birthday celebration, they're grieving. Can you report more on that?
Precisely so. The interesting aspect is that the driver who moved to Accra yesterday to bring the goodies for the birthday was actually stuck when he got the news. So he's still in Accra. He hasn't arrived yet with the goodies for the birthday. But the package that he sent for ahead of the birthday was the sanitary pass to be given to the female students in senior high. And we are told that a bowl has been arranged and other goodies have been arranged at local level to include all the sundry for the celebration of his birthday.
Okay.
Alhaji Muna, as stated by one of them, is a very religious person.
Right.
And he was believed to add everybody to the celebration and also to announce to the overlord of Gonja his appointment given by the president. But this is something that he could not leave to announce to the overlord of Gonja.
Thank you, Isaac, for bringing us a report from the Savannah region. Away from the Savannah region, I'll take you to the Ashanti region, where the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amakohene, is leading a delegation of NDC executives in the region to visit the home of Dr. Samuel Sapon. Ohim Interior is there live for Joy News. Ohim, if you can hear me, what's it like in the family home of Dr. Sapon?
I will say it is a gathering of all the political parties in the Ashanti region, because I have spotted supporters of the various political parties in the Dr. Samuel Sapong's Paraku Estate home. A while ago, the former Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah led a delegation of MMDCs to visit the home and also commiserate with the family of Dr. Samuel Sapong. He told me in an interview that Dr. Sapong's political activities cut across the political divide in the Ashanti region. If you are not careful, he says, you could think that he was neutral and you wouldn't even tag him to the National Democratic Congress because he did his politics according to a particular standard that invited all the other political parties, and he did with all the supporters of other political parties. Simon Osei-Mensah appealed to Ghanaians to depoliticize the death of the 8 victims in the helicopter crash. He says if Ghanaians continue to act this way, a time will come that people with integrity will move away with politics and they will not enter politics. A while ago, the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Amakohene, led a delegation of the National Democratic Congress executives and RESEC members to announce the death of Dr. Samuel Sapong officially to the family. The delegation, the spokesperson is Isham Al-Hassan. He said Dr. Samuel Sapong was part of government's efforts to clamp down on illegal mining. Unfortunately, as an important program of the illegal mining fight was being launched in Aboagye, he was scheduled to attend that event, but he got trapped in that helicopter crash. So the family has been informed of the death of Dr. Samuel Sapong, and it's been a somber mood here for almost everybody here to commiserate with the family.
Thank you. But before I let you go, have you spotted family members, especially his wife, children, particularly?
Yes, the wife has been here since yesterday, and some of his children are here as well as relatives. I'm told the mother of Dr. Samuel Sapong is yet to be told. What I mean is that the news of Dr. Samuel Sapong's death is yet to be broken to the mother. So arrangements have been made with his pastors to accompany the family so they can break this news to the mother and aged woman in Drabin in the Ashanti region. So I will say that yes, relatives, family members, supporters, as well as neighbors in the Paraku estate are all here joining political party sympathizers to commiserate with the family.
Right. Thank you so much, Ohim Interior, for bringing us reports from the Ashanti region. Now, away from that and still on this matter, The Z9 military helicopter that crashed yesterday, tragically claiming the lives of Ghana's Defense Minister, Dr. Omane Boamah, Environment Minister Murtala Mohammed, and 6 others, is now under heavy public scrutiny. Questions are being raised not only about the immediate cause of the crash, but also about the helicopter's operational history and safety track record. So, what do we know about this aircraft? And definitely my colleague Isaac Ofieje is in studio to walk us through exactly what you should know about the aircraft if you didn't know. Kofi, yeah, not a day for us to be in black, right?
I mean, very tragic and sad moment. What we've been doing is to understand what happened yesterday with the numbers. And in fact, if you look at the Ghana Armed Force or the Ghana Air Force, in terms of false landing or crashes, what do we know so far? Is it something unprecedented or something that has happened?
I think just give me a minute. I'll take our viewers back to the Ashanti region where the Ashanti Regional Minister is addressing the media.
This year, me Anna Ekahon. Bakosi Abrantia on the Aboagye na ofri. Ti ene abusua wie wa ha. E wo se yakobo on so abusua mane wo Aboagye. Ansani efri wa yenim se papa Samosapon. Ninchi en jochuro mu ankasa de adwaben na efri. Na ene abusua so di nsawo so. Ni akoye adwaben de no so afri oni ahu se ya wie ne peyo. Nti abusua president se o ma nyina ya hyeden. O ma ye yakọ. Ye nya kokodro because Dr. Samosapon ha anko bara se nya ahoden enfa nyina chire ni enwe se na chinye betumi atoto bibia ma bibia aye kama kama enti sa ahoden na wosre nyankopon se onfa maye na ye mfa nyina mu ewo embra emu odin mu na biom e bompa ye so ye mobi magana ye mobi mabusua no se akondie bia o sefo no ahyehye de atia o man no de se Yehowa te ase yi no wonne ye komafo na woni musu ati sei emfiri ye so na we achire no yenti atinkaboni bia yenti asemboni bia na de beba e wo Ghana so ne asanteman so no enya dia ebeye nhira nti anopa ye begina mu president na mu a na president nsem kakra wo pese ye ne abusua no enche anamede atomanim no oso wo ho bibia ni a wogina machi se de be ya ye betimi ahwe na ye papa Samosapon na chi no ebeye ade ade animunyam hye ebeba me de besia na madam ase.
Right, so in a wrap, the Ashanti Regional Minister is just telling us that the President extends his condolences to Dr. Sapon's family and also reiterated that, of course, he is from the Ashanti region, but particularly they would have to go to his hometown, Jobbing, to also tell his family. And after that, they would also go to Aboagye. And it's been reported that one person also on that helicopter yesterday is also from Aboagye, would go to their family. And reiterating that family should be strong in these very trying times, especially that is what Dr. Sapon would wish, so that his back is really tidied up as he would also wish. And so let's just get back to our conversation about this particular aircraft and then know that if you didn't know anything about the helicopter crash, Isaac will be walking us through it, not just yesterday's, but other crashes that we've had. Yeah.
In fact, we've been tracking this as far back as 2000. We're trying to understand the crashes and emergency landing of aircraft belonging to the Ghana Air Force, because we understand that this particular one also belonged to the Ghana Air Force. We understand the Z9, the current one that got crashed yesterday, was part of 4 aircraft that were commissioned by the then President, John Dramani Mahama, the current president, in 2015. He purchased it from the Chinese manufacturers with a loan. And we understand that this was supposed to help the Ghana gas as well as the military. And per our search, we were able to find at least 5 crashes and emergency landing since 2000. And let's try and go through. And the reason why we start with 2002 is because this is similar to what happened yesterday, where in terms of the details, it occurred somewhere around the Etiwa range in the eastern region, also in the thick forest, just like what we experienced yesterday. Those were on board 2 pilot, 2 technical officials, a patient, and a nurse. And we understand that when it occurred around that time, all of them actually died, just like what we saw yesterday, a very tragic and unfortunate situation. Then you come to 2015, where because of poor weather condition, there has to be an emergency landing of an aircraft as well, the Ghana Air Force aircraft, which also landed somewhere around Apatrapa in Kumasi. And we understand that they were able to land safely. There were no casualties as around that time. And what we understand in per the data we have is that usually when some of these incidents occur in the deep forest and in areas where it becomes difficult for the military to possibly, or the Air Force possibly gets an emergency landing, there involves a crash, and then those who are actually in the on board will definitely lose their life. And it's unfortunate that a similar thing happened yesterday. 2020, we had another incident where same Z9EH, GHF 630, what happened? It was around Kumbugu in the northern region. We understand there were 4 crew members plus military personnel who were also on that flight as well. Why? Because there was a tail rotor failure, and then they had to do an emergency landing. And in terms of 2024, we also have a similar incident happening. Same thing, bad weather and instability, where 21 staff and crew were also on board Bonso Chrome in the western region. And we understand that there were minor injuries, but there were no deaths when that also happened, until what happened yesterday, where same Z9EH, where all 8 members who were on board actually lost their life. It was unfortunate.
Just stay with me again. We'll take our viewers to Honorable Murtala's house, where my colleague Jackie Ansuma is on standby to bring us update.
All right, MFA, good afternoon to you and our lovely audience. I'm currently right in front of Honorable Murtala's residence, but earlier I was at Dr. Omane Boame's residence. But before I give you details into that, I have the Ashaman MP here. I mean, he just came into the house not long ago. We wanted us to tell him, Honorable, kindly, first of all, let us know how you felt when you heard this tragic news.
Well, Honorable Murtala was my very good friend in Parliament. So yesterday I was doing some monitoring of projects in my constituency when one of my guys came to tell me that there was a plane crash, and he understood Honorable Murtala was also part of it. I paused a minute and I started going on social media to see exactly what was happening. And lo and behold, it was true. I was traumatized, so shocked to the marrow, because when you come to Parliament, every good or bad that happened in the 8th Parliament was plotted by my good self, Murtala, Yusuf Suleimana, and Honorable Bawa. And so when I heard the news, because I spoke with Honorable Murtala about a day before yesterday, I spoke with him. And so when I heard the news, I was so surprised and I was so shocked. And I was not able to gather myself to even come to terms with it. Today, I decided to come and see for myself whether it was true. Murtala was a very gentle man, a good guy, very brilliant. And I mean, when he debated on the floor, you see the forcefulness and with the intellect that he came with. And he spoke with facts to the issues. We would miss Murtala a lot. This is a guy, myself and him, we started our PhD the same year. He graduated November last year, and I graduated this year. We were teasing each other with it. But as we speak now, my good friend is gone, and I don't know what exactly the cause might be, but God knows best, because He gives and He takes. We can only take solace in the fact that this world is not our home. We are transiting. It's a transit cortex, and we shall all be called to duty one day.
I can only wish the family, commiserate with the family, and wish them well, that even though their MP is gone, or their father, their husband, or whatever is gone, God knows best, and everything will be okay.
Okay, all right. Have you been to Dr. Omane Boame's residence? Because I saw the entourage from the majority side move from here.
I've been there, and Dr. Omane Boame, we became very close because I serve on the Defense and Interior Committee. And during the election, I worked with him closely because of the issues in Ashiaman. Dr. Omane Boame was also a very good man who brought the party to power because he was the election director. And then he was doing well at the Ministry of Defense. And the officers at the ministry, and even the officers, and the men and women in uniform, were commending him that he started on good notes. It's just unfortunate we lost him as well. He had a future, but that future is shattered.
Sure.
I hope and pray we'll find replacement for all these people. That is the only way we can take solace in their departure.
Okay, all right, sure. Thank you very much, sir. And that is the MP for Ashaman. So we're still here at Honorable Mutale's residence. But then, just as I was saying earlier, we first of all went to Dr. Omane Boame's residence, where we saw another entourage. We even saw Haruna Idrisu there not long after he left, and he also moved here to meet with the majority side here at Mutale's residence. But then they all headed back to Dr. Omane Boame's residence. But then if you have a closer look, we still see friends and family members still coming into the residence. I'm trying to enter the residence itself for you to have a look how this place is looking like. Initially, it was quite crowded when the majority side came here, but what we see here are friends and family inside this residence.
Well, Jackie, have you, by chance seen his immediate family, maybe wife, children, if he has a mother,
MFA, so we couldn't get access to enter the main room itself. We're told that the media is not allowed. After the majority addressed everybody in here, they were allowed to get inside, but we're not allowed to meet the family. But we presume they are inside the building where everyone is removing their shoes before they enter. That's where the family is. And also right at Dr. Omane Boame's residence, even when you're standing outside, you could see the family on top there. All the visitors that come, you could see them on top of his building and all that. So, MFA, we haven't met and had set sight on the family yet, but we've been told they're inside the building.
Right, Jackie, thank you so much for bringing us updates from Murtala Mohammed's residence, and I'm sure you're going to be around definitely bringing us updates from that residence. Kofi, yeah, quite hard to do this.
Yeah, in fact, if you look at one of the incidents that occurred 2015, President Mahama was actually involved, the one in Apatrapa in Kumasi, where President Mahama and his entourage were actually on board when they had to do that emergency landing because of poor weather conditions. And yesterday, if you listen to the eyewitnesses who actually spoke to JoyNews, you get the sense that this was a regular route for, the military helicopters. And in terms of the choppers, they come there a lot, and they have places that they do the emergency landing when the weather is very poor, and then they had to wait for some time before they take off. But what we understand yesterday was that what happened yesterday actually happened in the deeps of the forest, where I think it would have been very difficult for them to possibly return or find a place to do a safe landing, looking at the weather condition around that time. We're trying to understand the topography of the place yesterday, and you will see that that was a very mountainous area where you can have heights as high as 400 and 500 meters, very, very high. And in fact, if you possibly lose your bearings in terms of maybe losing network or you have poor weather condition also encountering you. And maybe, possibly we are looking at so many other factors, but what stands out is the weather condition and the fact that it could be that they may have lost access, internet access, and that's why maybe the military themselves also lost track and then they were off radar and they couldn't track them. But let's try and understand this more, looking at it on the global scale, where in terms of the Z9 aircraft itself, what is the global picture? We've seen what has happened in Ghana, where at least 8 emergency landings and crashes since 2000. We've seen that. But globally, if you look at the picture, what has been the outlook, we've had at least, this is actually the lifespan of the Z9 before we even go to the global picture. If you look at it from the fact that it was actually commissioned in 2015, it simply means that the at least situation has been in Ghana for about 10 good years. All the 4 aircraft belonging to the Z9 group have been in Ghana since 2015. So they've been in operation since the last 10 years, or close about 10 years. And so that is why many have said that it's important to look at the maintenance record of these aircraft and all of you to actually inform the investigation. And many have also said that do not allow the military to solely go into this investigation, because they are actually, although these 4 aircraft are for Ghana Gas, because we understand that when they were procured for Ghana Gas, but it is actually manned by the Ghana Air Force. Let's try and look at the global picture now, where we've seen at least 10 crashes and emergency landing of the Z9 itself globally. And if you see anything in blue, that would have meant that was, the forced landing. If you see anything in red, that means there was a crash. Okay. And what really happened? Let's try and start from 2003, right. Where in China itself, where
2003.
Exactly, 2003. Okay. In China itself, where the aircraft was manufactured, there was, the forced landing in China in 2003. 2009, we saw a similar one in Shanghai, where 1 person died. 2014, Cambodia, 5 people who were on board died. In 2015, there was Beijing, another crash in Beijing where 3 people died, adding to the 9 that we already know. If we go ahead to 2019, in Mali, in the West African space, where we saw another forced landing also in Mali, where an aircraft, also the Z9 class, also did a forced landing in Mali. And in 2020, Hong Kong, where 4 people died. 2024 in Cameroon, there was a forced landing, nobody actually died. And in 2024, Cambodia again, 2 people died. And Namibia, where 6 people who were on board also died. And so if you add the deaths globally and you add it to what we saw yesterday, it's an unfortunate situation that we are seeing. But what we know, and the data that we are gathering, is that the Ghana Air Force it's a command center that they have an excellent record when it comes to flights. Right. And when it comes to flying some of these aircraft and all of that. It's unfortunate that what happened yesterday really did happen. But what we are learning, and this is what the data is telling us about the Z9 particularly, and then also, the Ghana Air Force in terms of their forced landing and so many other things.
Thank you so much, Isaac Kofieji, for bringing us this understanding about the Z9 aircraft. But away from that, my colleague Adansi has turned the microphone to some of you to share your thoughts on the tragic event.
More organizer from Kro, and this two more organizer. And Maneboama is always a pastor. When you see Maneboama, when the honorable say come to office, or if he have something in his hand, we tell you wait, I will see you. So yesterday was a bad day for us, and this we will never forget in our life. But we hope God should keep them in his boss.
So sad that we are losing him at this stage, when Ghana need people with cool heads to manage the affairs of the country. So all we can say that we pray that God keeps his soul. Wherever he goes, he should be happy there. And to the family, we pray to the Almighty to give them peace.
I first heard the news on the television, so it's like I was watching to see what exactly has happened. Yeah, everything is off. You can identify even the plane. How much more the human being. So it's a sad news.
See, it's a big blow for Ghana yesterday. When you hear the news, and in office, we not feel well. And it's not easy for us. Mani Buama and the other minister, that man, we lost that man. It's not easy for Ghana. Ghana, we lost some big three as for yesterday. So Ghana was, Ghana yesterday, what we miss, we will not forget.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to lock big men like that in the country. I mean, it's very sad. It's very, very sad. Yesterday I couldn't sleep. And we pray that this will never ever happen to us again as a nation. And our condolences to the bereaved families.
And my condolences to the family. We are with them, we are mourning with them, and whatever happens, God knows best.
On Adam FM's Isaac Nomenyo was at the family house of Samuel Aboagye, the 2024 NDC parliamentary candidate for Obuasi East constituency, and also served as the National Deputy Director of NADMO.
Yo, medasi. Ene danu said the siba putupruno. Nukureni na ye hunu kotoku mfa kuranshim. Ti ye hwe tutu ya ma ne danu sa afeina ye de enkra kwa akwa busua panyini. Mse ne de hye no ye ato no. Edi ti afeina botre hu nam no ya ba betwa hye na fe ye hunu hyehyɛ ya. Ewo ho na wenu akoya abansam no. Esia no abusua no ye nhye da mamu bia sa. Chese de aban bekere eno na yenso ye behwe ehon hyehyɛ na mom obusua panyini ba na botre hu nam ne ahia ye behunu aban hyehyɛ na kire no ne abusua so anamo a ye betu enti na obusame a ne
on the Selby, my crab, I could frame his auntie. My friend in your bed is sharing ocean. Nabusan said, then I and tell me much one of the banoya, and me much me. A friend of so fat. And I met 20 more, I must see by, or this soon by. Let me say, I didn't. There are some I see. One was until don't was in Tiasame Ampa. Ampa, say, I did, there are some I see. And I was saying, you said, bring the prey about our Mabenas, and so what Tim was saying, I'm seeing them better. I can't see them better. No, Mr. Mui, I said, no, quite G, you didn't call him, tell him, said that a beyond the Yamia and you didn't call to G. Ambassador from the firm say, do or no whole G, no way your party, Minabutter, and no shooting on them Bacassa, I'm see you. Inti, you didn't find me call apostle fee. Inti, a person I catch them say, well, Minabutter, Cramia, they mean who be more. And it's some little her or the Abba. It's all, Banner. Edu wawu oko mo yeses
Aboagye to so sen
ona e ka chi ona to so nsia
woni da so
I say
woni da so ne Aboagye
mani da so ani da so
Medical officers are expected in the coming days to conduct a forensic examination on the remains of the helicopter crash victims. Defense Minister Dr. Peter Omanebuama, Environment Minister Murtala Mohammed, and 6 others were crashed to death while on their way to Obuasi for the launch of the Responsible Cooperative Mining Program. Emmanuel Bright Kweku traversed the Dampia Range Forest Reserve, where the 8 individuals were killed, and captured the journey to retrieve the mortal remains of victims in the following report.
Efforts by the emergency service providers with the support of national security recovered charred remains of all 8 persons in the wreckage. But the journey to the scene did not come easy. The team trekked for hours, navigating the deep forest and meandering through the slippery and slender routes.
So since morning that we have been under frantic efforts to retrieve the bodies of the ministers and also some delegation that were headed from Accra to Aboagye. It's taken us about an hour and we still haven't been able to reach to the scene where this particular incident happening. And in fact, the efforts by the Regional Security Council to actually retrieve these bodies, in fact, is one that is very tiring and Herculean. But we'll still try and manage and go and see for ourselves what really happened.
Deep in the thick Dampia Range Forest Reserve, the helicopter bound for Boise reportedly crashed into one of the trees, killing all persons aboard. All 8 persons, including Defense and Environmental Ministers Dr. Mahama and Murtala Mohammed, were confirmed dead. Kojun Tiamwa is an eyewitness. Because the helicopter was closer to the ground, I looked at it cautiously. At a few seconds, I heard a loud noise and I reckoned it could be the helicopter. I rushed to the scene and called out for people to tend to the incident. After at least 2 hours of walking, the bodies were retrieved from the helicopter wreckage.
We understand these are the charred remains of the 8 persons who were crashed in the helicopter scene.
Deputy Regional Security Coordinator for the Ashanti Region, Ivan Bilson Asari, tells JoyNews a forensic analysis is needed for easy identification of victims.
Ours is to evacuate the bodies from here to the morgue or probably the hospital where probably a postmortem and other examinations can be done to identify, because you were there, you also saw them, they were bent beyond recognition. So I think we have to employ scientific means to identify those bodies and see who is who before it can be released to the respective families.
For JoyNews, my name is Emmanuel Bright Quico.
You're still watching News Today, and my colleague Nuala Karen Iyali joins me and will be bringing us tributes from length and across the country. Nuala,
that's right, MFR. I mean, tributes have been pouring in from the political divide, our friends in the international space as well. Let's start with an official statement from the Psychiatric Association of Ghana. It's a joint press statement, actually, by them and the Ghana Psychological Association as well. And it says the Psychiatric Association of Ghana, PAG, and Ghana Psychological Association, GPA, expressed their profound sorrow at the tragic loss of 8 Ghanaians, including several senior government officials and security personnel, through the military helicopter crash near Adansi Crash in the Ashanti region on the 6th of August 2025. We extend our heartfelt condolences to the families, colleagues, the government and loved ones of all those affected. This national tragedy is not only a political and security loss, but also a deep emotional wound for the country. So I'm just going to really read the salient bits of most of these, tributes pouring in, because there are quite a number of them. And so if we can just move on to the next tribute, I could quickly read through them. This one is from Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who is the Director General of the World Trade Organization. Says, my deepest condolences to His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, J.D. Mahama, the bereaved families and the people of Ghana for the tragic loss of their Honorable Minister of Defense, Dr. Edward Kofi Boamah, and the Honorable Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, and 6 others in a terrible helicopter crash. May their souls rest in perfect peace. And she isn't the only one. William Ruto, who's the Kenyan president, also had this to say, says, we extend our condolences to His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, the government, the people of Ghana, and the bereaved families following a tragic helicopter crash that killed 8 people, including 2 ministers. We stand in solidarity with Ghana in mourning this profound loss and offer our thoughts and prayers during this time of sorrow. Rest in peace. We're going to go ahead and read some more tributes that have been pouring in. Like I said, we've seen some from the political divide, both NPP members, NDC members. This one is from the University of Professional Studies, Accra, UPSA. It says these words: death leaves a heartache no one can heal. Love leaves a memory no one can steal. And it's a quote they say words that resonate deeply as we mourn the loss of Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah, Minister for Defense, and Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, and Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, and 6 others who perished in the helicopter crash this morning near Obuasi. The African Union, the AU, also shared this statement with Ghanaians. It says the chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, has learned with deep sorrow of the tragic helicopter crash in the Ashanti region of the Republic of Ghana, which claimed the lives of 8 people, including Ghana's. Of course, they go on to mention names of the 2 ministers of state and the 6 others as well. We still have more. I know that the Canadian authority, or should I say commission, also shared theirs, quite a number of them, but
quite a number.
This should be enough.
Absolutely. And if you stayed on your screen, so maybe you want to read that. Canada in Ghana, you mean?
That's right. That's right. So it says the High Commission of Canada extends heartfelt condolences to the government and people of Ghana on the tragic loss of Dr. Edward Kofi Omane-Boamah, Minister for Defense, and Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Our sincere condolences also for the death of Mr. Mohammed, Dr. Sapon, Mr. Aboagye, Squadron Leader Anala, Flying Officer Chum Ampedu, and Sergeant Mensah. Our thoughts are with the bereaved families and all those, I beg your pardon, mourning this unimaginable loss. May their souls rest in perfect peace.
Thank you so much, Nola, for bringing us all these tributes across the country and even across the border of our country. You're watching News Today. It's really not a good afternoon, but if you stay with us, we'll be back with more.
Welcome back to Business here on JoyNews Today. My name is Winston Taki, and Ato Forson business story. Inflation rate for the month of July has slowed marginally to hit new record levels. Data released by the Ghana Statistical Service in Accra yesterday showed that it dropped from 13.7% in June to 12.1% for the last month.
The data released by the Ghana Statistical Service. The decline was influenced by significant slowdown in the general price levels of foodstuff and other items. Government statistician Dr. Hassan Idrisu noted that the development shows that the pressures driving inflation over the past month are declining.
The July inflation, as we have announced, is 12.1%. And this is a reduction by 1.6 percentage points from the June inflation of 13.7%. And the main factors accounting for this decline is coming from the various components. For example, if you take food inflation, for example, we are looking at food inflation actually reducing by 1.2 percentage points, right? And then if you look at locally produced items, its inflation is also reduced by 1.1 percentage points. If you look at month-on-month basis, however, we saw inflation picked up by 0.7%. So what this means is that between June and July, inflation is inch up a bit. So the general price level for goods and services increased by 0.7% between June and July, meaning that we need to watch these short-term pressures.
Food inflation declined by 1.2 percentage points to 15.1% in July 2025, and price of food items increased by 0.6% between June and July 2025. Also, non-food inflation dropped by 1.9 percentage points to 9.5%, but price level of non-food items increased by 0.7% between June and July. The Upper West region continued to register the highest inflation at a striking 24.8%, whilst the Central region recorded the lowest inflation at 7.7%.
Now, away from that, ARB Apex Bank PLC has maintained a strong financial performance for the 2024 fiscal year, recording a profit before tax of 25.44 million cedis. The bank clocked growth across key indicators, including a 37.3% increase in capital, an 83.87% rise in total assets, and a 73.66% surge in deposits.
The Ghanaian banking sector is bouncing back in the aftermath of an economic downturn experienced in 2022 with the rollout of the domestic debt exchange program under the previous administration. The sector demonstrated significant growth in key financial indicators during 2024. Rural banks made remarkable breakthroughs in digital banking with the adoption of online banking that greatly enhanced convenience and accessibility for rural customers. At the 23rd annual general meeting of the ARB Apex Bank, the manifestation of this growth was tabled for the year 2024. Despite the dynamic and challenging macroeconomic climate, the bank's total assets recorded significant growth of 83.87% from 1.2 billion cedis in 2023 to 2.28 billion cedis in 2024. Chairman of ARB Apex Bank, Daniel Ohenike Owusu, assures that the bank will continue with all efforts to improve quality service, governance, internal controls, and financial performance.
The ARB Apex Bank supported rural banks to operationalize their digital banking platforms. Customers can now perform a host of banking services such as funds withdrawals, funds transfer, bill payments, accessing account statements, and making check requests right from their mobile phones using the special USSD code. The ARB Apex Bank will continue with all the efforts to improve quality service, governance, internal controls, and financial performance. As part of this effort, the bank will not relent on its engagement with the regulator and relevant government officials to address the apparent operational challenges facing the industry.
Investments at the bank increased by 24.38% from 510.1 million cedis in 2023 to 634.5 million cedis in 2024, while loans and advances recorded a higher growth of 104.87%. Managing Director of ARB Apex Bank, Alex Kwesiewa, lauded internal and stakeholder strategies that have secured the bank's elite performance.
Our exceptional financial performance this year, as 2024, is a testament to the efficacy of the strategies we have implemented over the past 3 years.
That's all for business. We have more news for you right after this break. Stay tuned.
And this is how we wrap up the news today. I am MFA Akosia Adeti. But if you do log on to myjoyonline.com, there'll be more news, and do stay with us for our subsequent bulletins. Thank you for watching.